ସାର୍ ଆସିନାହାନ୍ତି?
ସାର୍ ଆଜି ଆସିନାହାନ୍ତି?
ନା ଏପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ ତ ଜଏନ୍ କରିନାହାନ୍ତି, ଦେଖିବା।
ଟିକେ ଲେଟରେ ଆସିବି ବୋଧେ।
Hello, dear learners. Am I audible to all?
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Am I audible
Sir,
to all?
namaste.
Namaskar,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Namaskar, sir.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Evening, sir.
Namaskar. First of all, a very good afternoon to one and all present over the platform. I'm very sorry I could not join in time because of some office urgency. So we will start our session for today. And I request all of you, please mute yourself, and whenever you doubts, you unmute and ask questions. So as you know, this paper is MES-13, and the title of the paper is Learning, Learner and Development. And actually, this is a part of educational psychology. And in this paper, we have 5 blocks consisting of 19 units. These 19 units will be covered in 6 classes, in 6 sessions, starting from today. And this paper is going to be end perhaps on 19th of this month. So without wasting much time, let us start the paper. Today we will talk about the first block. The first block is about the concept of learning and the process of learning. So let me share my screen. Students, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
So this is block 1. And here 4 units are here. Already I have mentioned that this unit or this block is about first unit of this block is about the learning concept and the process of learning. So before proceeding for, as you all know that this is only the personal contact program, and within this short period of time it is not possible to cover all syllabus. So here we will talk some of the basic points. I will touch every point, every important points I'm going to touch, but I seek your participation. Through the process of discussion we will learn. This is the process. So first unit is about learning and its scope. So dear students, do you have any idea regarding the learning? Any one of you? What is learning? Please.
Sir, କିଛି ଦେଖା ଯାଉନି.
Sir, screen
देखा
किती
जाऊनी? Okay.
PPT देखा जाओने.
PPT देखा जाऊनी?
ନାଇଁ, sir.
No, sir.
Sir.
एबे
No, sir. No, sir.
No, sir.
देखा जाऊनी? Okay, I am enlarging it. Now it is visible to all?
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. Let it go. So tell me, what is the meaning of learning? Any one of you, what is the meaning of learning?
Sir.
No response. Okay. So let me tell. Okay. Please.
So learning means
What do
relatively
you mean by learning?
behavior.
Learning means modification of behavior. Okay. It is a lifelong process. We all know that. Yes or no? Learning means acquisition of knowledge, gaining information. And more importantly, the meaning of learning means finding solution to different kind of problems. Yes or no? So we learn because of some problems. Whenever we face different kind of problems, we just try to find out the solution of the problem in order to face the challenges of life. And those solutions are actually learning. So another thing I want to say, learning means a modification of behavior, and that modification must be relatively permanent in nature. That is the meaning of learning. Okay, so here we will talk about the meaning of learning from different perspective. Okay, so how different schools of psychology they consider the process of learning, or they how they have developed the meaning of learning. So as we know, there are different schools of psychology, and the first school of psychology, as we know, that is structuralism. Then second thing is functionalism. Then third thing is behavioral psychology. Then cognitive psychology, and next is psychoanalysis school of psychology. Then another school is what we call the constructivist school of psychology. Then humanistic school of psychology are also there. So as per your syllabus, we will talk the meaning and the process of learning from behavioristic perspective. Okay, so we all know that initially psychology was a part of philosophy. There was no distinct subject or distinct discipline like psychology, so it was a part of philosophy. As we know, philosophy is the mother of all knowledge. All disciplines, all subjects are derived from philosophy. So similarly, psychology is also derived from the philosophy. And the initial, if we go for the initial definition of psychology, so it said psychology is the study of soul. Initially it was told. Then it is regarded as psychology is the study of mind. Then another definition comes, psychology is the study of conscious mind. Then the behavioral school actually start, which tells that psychology is the study of behavior. So from behavioristic point of view, if we go for the meaning of learning, it means the relatively permanent change in behavior. And that relatively permanent change in behavior due to various things, due to what we call conditioning. Okay, so what is the meaning of conditioning? Any one of you, please? What is the meaning of conditioning? Please. Dear students,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. ଶୁଣା ଯାଉଛି।
so conditioning means what we call the association, association between the stimulus. Okay, 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 association between stimulus and response. ये ଦେଖାଉଛି ନା ପିଲେ ଏବେ PPT ଦେଖାଉଛି?
ନାଇଁ ସାର୍ ଦେଖା
No,
ଯାଉନି।
sir.
No, sir.
ଟିକେ respond କରିବ, PPT visible is my clear ହେଲା? Okay, okay, ଠିକ ଅଛି, ମୁଁ କହି ଦଉଛି just
Blank
ମୁଁ
screen
କହି ଦଉଛି,
ଦେଖାଅ।
ମୁଁ ତାକୁ କହି ଦଉଛି, just note down କର. So let us first talk the meaning of learning from behavioristic point of view. So behaviorism is a school of psychology actually, and it focuses on behavior. So what is behavior? মନରେ প্রশ্ন আসে যে behavior actually কোন নয় কি? So behavior means that is the reflection of our mind. ঠিক ଅଛି, ତେଣୁ whenever we come across the different stimulus around us, stimulus ମାନେ ପିଲେ କଣ କିଏ କହିପାରିବ କି? What is the meaning of stimulus? Dear students, can any one of you tell the meaning of stimulus? Please respond. ଶୁଣା ଯାଉନି? Okay, ଠିକ ଅଛି, ତେଣୁ stimulus means anything around us which create reaction in us. ঠিক আছে, it may be some concrete thing, it may be some abstract thing, we call it stimulus. Maybe it may be a prize, it may be a snake, it may be a fan, anything around us. गाली भी हेई पारे, प्रशंसा भी हेई पारे, anything around us, maybe abstract thing, maybe concrete thing, which creates reaction in us is called stimulus. ତେଣୁ stimulus ଆଉ response ତାଙ୍କ ଭିତରେ association ଯେତେବେଳେ ହୁଏ, when association is there, we learn. That is the process of learning according to the behavioristic perspective. Okay, so because of we can say some of the name which name of the psychologist who support the behavioristic perspectives of learning, maybe Pavlov, maybe Watson, maybe Skinner, okay, maybe Thorndike. These are the some of the important names. So they have mentioned that the meaning of learning is the association between the stimulus and the response. Okay, that is from the behavioristic perspective. Then when we behavioristic perspective is actually another name we can say, that is the non-cognitive theory of learning. Non-cognitive, that means here the supporters of the behavioristic school of psychology, they believe that for the process of learning we don't need any kind of cognition, ମାନେ ବୁଦ୍ଧି କଥା ଯୋଉଟା ଆମେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି। ओके, ତେଣୁ ବୁଦ୍ଧିର କିଛି ଆବଶ୍ୟକତା ନାହିଁ। ବିକଜ ଅଫ ଲର୍ଣ୍ଣିଂ, ମାନେ ହାଉ ଲର୍ଣ୍ଣିଂ ଇଜ ପସିବଲ, ଲର୍ଣ୍ଣିଂ ମିନ୍ସ ଦି ଆସୋସିଏସନ ବିଟୱିନ୍ ଦି ଷ୍ଟିମୁଲସ୍ ଆଣ୍ଡ ଦି ରେସ୍ପନ୍ସ। वी can give the example of classical conditioning theory, we can give the example of operant conditioning theory, we can give the trial and error theory. Okay, so when stimulus and response they make association, learnings occurs. That is the belief of the behavioristic supporters. But when we talk about another school of psychology, that is what we call the cognitive perspective. Okay, so cognitive perspective starts at the end of 18th century actually. And the supporters of cognitive psychology, they believe that in order to learn anything we must have to use our cognition or cognitive ability. So cognitive means mind ability actually. And we learn because of reason. Okay, reason is the source of knowledge. And some of the new concepts came to the field of psychology, what we call perception, sensation, these kind of things. And they believe that for learning anything we must have to use our cognition. And in this regard our senses are a important thing. They play important role. They are actually the gateway of knowledge. Then from another perspective we can say, that is constructive perspective. And constructive perspective means the learning means creating something new. And nowadays it is gaining popularity. And this school of psychology is gaining ground in modern time, because constructive perspective, it believes that students must have to create their own knowledge by using their previous experiences. And learning can be possible because of assimilation, assimilation, accommodation, equilibrium. These are the process of learning. And 4 stages of learning are there, what we call according to Piaget. That is sensory motor stage, pre-operational stage, concrete operational stage, formal operational stage. These are the 4 stages of learning. And students actually learn by using their previous experiences, and they construct their own knowledge. And constructivist approach always focuses on the process, not the product. That means how students learn, that is important, not what students learn. Product is not important. What is important? Process is important. That is the constructivist viewpoint of learning. Then another important thing is there in this unit is about situated cognition. So what is situated cognition? The we can say the philosophy of pragmatism is the base of situated cognition. So that means knowledge in context. Actually जो जिनसटा आम माइंड रे अछि, that is that is not important. But when the learning or the knowledge, when we apply it to the real life situation, or when we learn something by doing anything, that is the actual meaning of learning. That is the motto of that is the main point of situation. cognition. So what is situated cognition? Situated cognition means it is a process, or it is a theory which tells that learning will be when learn kahanti tenu cognition when we talk rooted in the studies how common people make sense of their surroundings, how they solve different kind of problems, and how they acquire skill in natural setting. And from that basic thing, the situated cognition knowledge is actually arised. And talking about the unit of analysis, it focus shift from individual mental functions to the socio-cultural setting.
ସାର୍ ନେଟୱାର୍କ
ସାର୍
ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ
ଶୁଭୁନି
ସାର୍
କିଛି।
ଶୁଭା ଯାଉନି।
ଶୁଭା ଯାଉନି ସାର୍।
କିଛି ଶୁଭା ଯାଉନି କି ଦେଖା ଯାଉନି।
Of people within it, and knowledge as lived practices is understood in relation to both social and interrelatedness of all things. And it challenges the notion that students passively absorb knowledge instead of promoting engagement, action, and practice. Okay, so that means our old belief was learning is a passive process. Students learn because of students learn because of the teachers. Students remain passive state, and they receive knowledge from the teachers. Okay, from it rejects that things, and it focuses that students learn when they actively engage in the process of learning. Okay, then if we talk about the diverse origin of situated cognition, and let us talk about some of the important concepts related to situated cognition. So first thing is communities of practice. That is the first key concept. It means situated learning believes in group participations, group sharing similar groups and interest, who employs the common practices, tool, and language learning. Student
ସାର୍ କଟିଗଲେ ନା କଣ?
ମାନେ ସାର୍ କଟିଗଲେ।
ସାର୍ କଟିଗଲେ। ନେଟୱାର୍କ ସମସ୍ତେ ଲେଫ୍ଟ ମାରିକି ପଳଉଛନ୍ତି।
ସାର୍ ନାହାନ୍ତି ବୋଲିକି ପଳଉଛନ୍ତି ଆଉ।
Hello, dear students.
ଆଜ୍ଞା ସାର୍।
Please respond. Please respond. Any doubt till now?
sir.
ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ
Sir,
ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ କଣ
situated cognition.
situated
Sir,
cognition?
କିଛି ଦେଖା ଯାଉନଥିଲା କି ଶୁଣା ଯାଉନଥିଲା ସାର୍।
Okay, okay. Again, I am showing it to you. କଣ ଟିକେ problem ଅଛି ବୋଧେ? Situated cognition कौन कहली? What is situated cognition किए बुझिଛ कि नहीं? What is situated cognition? Learning, that means learning is practical in nature. Okay, we learn because of doing something. Okay, and जोटा को हमें कहउछन ता philosophy कोठी अछि ना pragmatism philosophy रे? Pragmatism philosophy or Dewey's philosophy. Okay, is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Uh, then we have talked about some of the features of cognitive situation or situated cognition. Situated cognition no माने होउची learning is practical in nature. What we have learnt must be practicable, must be applicable, must be transferable. That is the main concept of situated cognition. Okay, here we must apply our learned fact in order to find the solution of problems or in order to face the challenges of life. That is the meaning of cognitive situation. Okay, and it has four important features. First one, it is collaborative in nature. That means communities of practice. Students learn better in group. Different research, actually both research जहाँ ହେଇची, research say that students learn in better. काहेंकि ना in a group there are different kind of students with different knowledge, different experience, different information, and when they share all these things with the other students get benefit from it. ঠিক ଅଛି, ତେଣୁ ସିଚୁଏଟେଡ୍ ଲର୍ଣ୍ଣିଂ ର ଅର୍ଥ ହେଉଛି ଲର୍ଣ୍ଣିଂ ଇଜ ଏ ସୋସିଆଲ ଆକ୍ଟିଭିଟି, ସୋସିଆଲ ଭେଞ୍ଚର. Students learn better in group. Then second thing is, second feature ହେଉଛି what we call authentic activities. Authentic activities ମାନେ କ'ଣ? ଯୋଉ activities ଗୁଡ଼ା actually କ'ଣ ହେଉଛି, those activities which are relevant to our life, those activities must be presented in the curriculum, so that students will gain efficiency. They will be able to face the challenges of life. ठीक अछि, those kind of activities should be organized in the school or in an educational institution. So तेनु through these authentic activities students will learn better. Then another important feature of situated cognition is what we call legitimate peripheral participation. ତେଣୁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଯେ ଲର୍ଣ୍ଣିଂ ହେଉଛି ଗୋଟେ ଗ୍ରୁପ ପ୍ରୋସେସ ବା ଗ୍ରୁପ ଆକ୍ଟିଭିଟି, ତେଣୁ ସେ ଗ୍ରୁପ ଆକ୍ଟିଭିଟି ବା ଯୋଉଟାକୁ ଆମେ ଜଏଣ୍ଟ ଭେଞ୍ଚର ବୋଲି କହୁଛନ୍ତି, the more experienced students or more what we call knowledgeable students should be remain at the center, and the newcomers or students with little experience they must remain at the periphery. Periphery ମାନେ ଆମେ ବୁଝୁଛନ୍ତି କ'ଣ, ଉପାନ୍ତ ଅଞ୍ଚଳରେ ଆମେ ବୁଝୁଛନ୍ତି, ମାନେ ସାଇଡ ଆଡେ ରହିବେ. They will observe the other students and gradually they will come to the center. ठीक ଅଛି, so that is another feature. Then another important feature of cognitive situation is what we call cognitive apprenticeship. Okay, what is the meaning of apprenticeship? Apprenticeship means actually one kind of training. ଯେମିତି ଆମେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି students may have a little experience on a particular concept or a particular topic. At that time, they need some kind of assistance, some kind of help from the teachers, from the tutors, from the instructors. And through cognitive apprenticeship, that kind of help is provided to the students. Okay, so that help may be scaffolding, maybe coaching, maybe tutor, maybe instructor. So these kind of things will help the students to gain knowledge or to gain mastery over a particular topic. Okay, so these are the four important feature. Kon कहली important feature na cognitive situation is communities of practice, or it is what we call collaborative in nature. Then authentic activities are to be organized or to be settled, to be set in the classroom or in the educational institution, so that students will get the real life experience. It should be legitimate peripheral participation should be there. Another thing is there, cognitive apprenticeship must be there, so that students will learn better. Then talking about the principle, what are the principle of cognitive situation? The first principle is knowledge in authentic context. Knowledge needs to be presented and learned within an authentic context. That means the learning should occur in settings and through applications that would naturally involve that knowledge. Okay. Let us take an example. So instead of just reading about history, students might engage in projects that require them to apply this principle to real world problem. That means authentic context मान हमें कौन बुझचंदी पिले जोटा को already किस समय आगरू कहली जो feature बोलो को जे authentic activities must be organized. That means simple भाषा रे हमें ताको कहवा knowledge should be practical in nature. Okay, only by reading theory we will get the theoretical knowledge. But when it comes to its application in a real life field, we will fail if the knowledge is not contextual and if it is not authentic context. Okay, then we must have to apply that process in our process of teaching and learning. Students must gain knowledge by doing something. Okay, that is the first principle. Kon principle कहली knowledge in authentic in context. Second important principle, that is knowledge is a social process. Knowledge can be done through social interaction and through collaboration. Then if we go for the Vygotsky theory, जेमती Vygotsky गोटे theory कहते कौन जे learning होची गोटे social activity नो students learn माने students cannot learn in isolation. They learn different things when they effectively interact with their students, with their friends, with teachers, with experts, and when they share ideas, when they share perspectives and problem solving strategies, learning can be possible. Okay, so through the process of learning, will be easy if it will be regarded as a social activity or what we call social interaction. So these are the principles of situated cognition. Kon कहली knowledge is authentic in context. Second thing, learning should
Learning
be
socially.
learning is a social process. Learning is an interaction process. Learning will be better if there is collaboration. Okay. Then principle, already we have discussed principle. Then let us talk about the types of learning, or what we call the domains of learning. So as we all know that there are three domains of learning. One is cognitive domain. Second one is what we call affective domain.
Effective.
Third one is first one cognitive. Second one what we call affective.
Psychomotor.
Third one is
Effective.
psychomotor domain. Okay.
Psychomotor.
Okay, very good, very good. I want that kind of response. जो जगह अबुझा रहिबो कहबो माने माइक को अनम्यूट करिकिनी पचारि पारिबो किछि प्रॉब्लम नाही. So first one is let us talk about cognitive domain. What is the meaning of cognitive domain? Cognitive domains means intellectual knowledge. No, this domain pertains to intellectual knowledge, skill and abilities. And जदि हमें कहबा Bloom's taxonomy को जदि जिबा cognitive domain रे, we will find 6 levels of learning from 6 levels of increasing complexity. तेणु फास्ट रे हमर कोन रहे तळे सबुठु ब्लूम्स टैक्सोनॉमी मन अछि पिला मन कोन फास्ट तळे रहे दैट इज नॉलेज. Okay, at the bottom that is knowledge. Knowledge means recall of specific information, fact and principle, that is knowledge. Then tapare kon ase knowledge pore comprehension. Okay, comprehension, that means understanding different verb, different pictures, different symbolic forms. Then application. Applications mean ability to apply new knowledge to real life situation, that is what we call application. Then after application the next level is analysis.
Analysis.
Okay, analysis means kono na breaking down into constituents. Okay, constituent parts and clarifying the relationship, that is analysis. Put a whole jinso ko bhangiwa, we call it analysis. Okay, then that is
Synthesis.
synthesis. Synthesis means putting different parts together to create something new, to form a whole, that is synthesis. Then at the end and at the top that is evaluation. Evaluation means judging the values of worth of material, ideas or methods based on criteria. Evaluation, when the evaluation ability comes in us, we will know that our learning process has reached to its topmost position. Okay, then Bloom's taxonomy is also revised. You should also go for the revised Bloom's taxonomy. एठु आमे जो देखुचंती माने डिफरेंट टर्म जेमति आमे नॉलेज, comprehension जो कथा कहउचंती, these things are actually changed to verb. No कि मने अछि कहार revised Bloom's taxonomy?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that is the revised form of Bloom's taxonomy. There the words actually described in terms of verb. जेमति हला knowledge means remember, no? Comprehension means understand.
Understanding.
Or at the top that is what we call synthesize. ठीक अछि, that is synthesize at the top, that means create something new. So that is the cognitive domain. This is
unit.
uh-huh.
कोई यूनिट सर.
Okay, again
सर केते नंबर पेज है जो पढौचंती आपण?
21.
हाँ, this one तुम बही रे बही देखो टिके फॉलो करो. मु जस्ट ताको एब्स्ट्रैक्ट करी कि पीपीटी बनैछि. ओके,
PPT शो होउनी तो धरिबो.
अच्छा टिके टिके ए ता पर पीपीटी गुडा शो होउछि कि टिके मते कहबो पिले मु देखौछि किछि पीपीटी
किछि भी शो होउनी सर.
एते देखिलो
नहीं सर.
नहीं सर शो करनी.
किछि भी शो करनी.
नहीं सर.
सर लिखा है कि यू आर प्रेजेंटिंग खाली सिग्नल लिखा है.
Okay, okay, I am very sorry, I will modify this PPT for next class. टिके आज एडजस्ट करो टिके.
आज्ञा
ठीक अछि. Okay, I am telling everything I am telling, I am touching every points, I am not leaving a single point.
ओके सर. ओके
Okay, sir.
So we are talking about different types of learning. So first thing, the domains of learning. There are 3 domains of learning. One is cognitive domain, second one is affective domain, third one is psychomotor domain. Okay, so already we have discussed about the cognitive domain. So the cognitive domain is derived from the Bloom's taxonomy. Then talking about the second
सर वॉइस ब्रेक होछि.
सर किछि भी सुना ना.
वॉइस कटि जाउछि.
कुछ तो बोले.
affective domain. So what is the affective domain? That is related to our emotions, no? Focuses on emotions. Okay, that is focus.
सर सुबुनी.
On emotions, our attitudes, our values, our appreciation, and the affective domain is derived by.
सर.
एबे सुबह होला सर.
यस सर. एबे सुबह होला. आज्ञा
Okay,
सर.
okay, maybe there's some kind of network issues. Okay, so after cognitive domain, another domain is what we call affective domain.
Effective.
Affective domain. And affective domain means it focuses on which aspect? Our emotions,
Emotion.
our attitudes, our values, our appreciation. Am I audible? सुना
Yes,
होती ना
sir.
पिले?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. कौन कहले affective domain कौन आछी? Emotions, attitude, values,
Emotion.
and appreciation. Okay.
Values.
And in 1964, a hierarchical level was developed by Bloom, Carthwell, and Marcia. Okay, a hierarchical level just like the cognitive domain. And here, 5 important levels are there. And learning should be designed, or the teaching process, or what we call the education system should be designed in such a way that these domains will develop, our affective domain will develop. So those kind of activities must be organized in the curriculum. ତେଣୁ ଫାଷ୍ଟ ଲେଭେଲରେ କ'ଣ ଆସୁଛି affective domainରେ, ଯୋଉଟାକୁ ଆମେ hierarchical order ବୋଲି କହୁଛନ୍ତି, receiving. Try to remember the first thing come at the bottom, that is receiving. Okay, and we became aware. We became aware, and our consciousness developed, or our affect or values develop when we are able to listen, when we are willing to listen. ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ ଶୁଣିବାରେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମର ଆଗ୍ରହ ରହିବ, ସେତେବେଳେ ଆମର affective domain ର କ'ଣ ହବ? Develop ହବ. ତେଣୁ first thing ଆସୁଛି receiving or attending. Then after receiving, another thing comes, that is responding. Active attention or expressing interest or voluntary participation we need for the development of affection or affective domain. Then third thing, valuing, then organizing, then characterization by a value
or value complex.
or value complex.
Sir,
I
voice
repeat.
break होचे.
हाँ कौन एठी आसुची रे? प्रथमे कोन आसला? तळे सबुठ कोन आसला affective domain रे? Receiving. Okay, हाँ receiving when we able to, affective domain कोन आसला hierarchical order रे? First receiving, then second one receiving, responding, valuing, organizing, then value complex. Okay, these are the hierarchy of affective domain. Then another domain is there, what we call psychomotor domain. Okay, and psychomotor domain also one of the important domain of learning. What is the meaning of psychomotor? That means କ'ଣ psychomotor ମାନେ ଆମେ କ'ଣ ବୁଝନ୍ତି ପିଲେ? What is the meaning of psychomotor? ଯୋଉଟା ଆମ ଶରୀରର ବିଭିନ୍ନ ଅଙ୍ଗ ପ୍ରତ୍ୟଙ୍ଗ କଥା କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଆମେ, ନୁହଁ? We must have to learn
Physical activity.
Physical activity.
Physical activities, very good. ତେଣୁ ତାର ମଧ୍ୟ ଗୋଟେ ହେରାଚି ବାହାର କରିଥିଲେ 1972 ରେ ଅନିତା ହାରୋ ନାମକ ଜଣେ ଏଜୁକେସନିଷ୍ଟ. Okay, in 1972 he has given the hierarchy of psychomotor domain, and at the bottom
Sir, सुना सुबुनी sir. କିଛି ଶୁଭା ଯାଉନି sir.
the first level comes, that is the fundamental movement, or what we call the basic movement. fundamental movement or basic movement. That is at the bottom. Then second thing,
Sir, आपन voice break होची.
Hello.
hello students.
Yes, sir.
Am I audible to all?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Now I am sharing my screen. ମୁଁ ମୋବାଇଲ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଇଏ ଲ୍ୟାପଟପ ରେ ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ ଦେଖାଇଲା ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ମୋବାଇଲ କରୁଛି ଯଦି ଦେଖା ହବ ଇଏ କହିବ ମତେ ଟିକେ ଯୋଉ ଦେଖା ହବ ଆମେ ସେମିତି ଡିସ୍କସନ କରିବା.
ଆଜ୍ଞା
I am
sir.
sharing my screen. Just a minute. Is my screen visible to all?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Sir.
Okay. Just a minute. Is my screen visible now?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, let it go. So, ଆମେ କଣ ଡିସ୍କସନ
ଶୋ ହଉଛି ପୁଣି କଟି ଯାଉଛି sir.
କଟି ଯାଉଛି?
WhatsApp ର ଗୋଟେ ଦିଟା ଦେଖେଇଥିଲା କଟିଗଲା ଆଉଥରେ.
Is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
Is my screen visible to all?
ଆଉଥରେ ପଳେଇଲା sir.
Sir, କଟିଗଲା ପୁଣି.
ନା ସାର୍ କଟି ଯାଉଛି.
Okay, ଠିକ ଅଛି ତାହେଲେ ଦେଖ ଛାଡି ଦିଅ କଣ ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ ଟିକେ ଅଛି. So କଣ କହୁଥିଲି ପିଲେ? I am talking about different domain of
Psychomotor domains.
learning. Okay. So what is the meaning of psychomotor domain? It related to the physical activities as you mentioned. So it means learning
Physical.
different kind of physical skills. Physical skill. Yes or no? So we need to learn some of the physical skills, and those skills help us to maintain a good life or to cope with the challenges of life. And here some hierarchy are also there, just like the cognitive domain and affective domain. Anita Harrow in 1972 she described five levels of psychomotor learning. And the first thing is the basic movement, or what we call the fundamental movement. And what is the meaning of fundamental movement? That means the locomotor movements, and to manipulative movements. What is the meaning of manipulative movement? That means walking, pushing, gripping. These are known as manipulative movement, and we all learn these skills, okay, in order to move freely from one place to another. Then after fundamental movement, second type of movement is perpetual activities. Perpetual activities means ଯେମିତି ଆମେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି auditory, visual, kinesthetic, tactile, okay, our coordinated perceptions, just like following instruction. These kind of things are known as perpetual activities. and we also need to learn this kind of we also need to gain these kind of abilities. These abilities help us for the development of psychomotor domain. And then the third thing is what we call physical abilities. Physical abilities means what we call our endurance, our strength, our flexibility, our agility. Okay, agility means what we call distance running, weight lifting, typing. These kind of activities also we have to learn, because our physical abilities help us to perform various kind of activities in our day-to-day life. Then after that, skilled movement. Skilled movement means efficiency in performing specific complex tasks or complex movement, just like dancing, just like sports skill. These are skill movements. And after skill movements, another thing is what we call non-decursive communication. Okay, that means communication through bodily movement, non-discursive communication, that is called, or what we call non-verbal communication. In simple word, we can call it non-verbal communication. For communication, that means the communication through our bodies. That is also one kind of skill. So this is psychomotor domain. So psychomotor domain re jo panchta level kon कहली, I repeat. First one, fundamental movement, or what we call basic movement. Second one is perpetual abilities.
Perceptual.
Perpetual abilities.
Physical.
Third thing,
Perceptual.
physical abilities. Fourth one is skilled movement. And the last one is non-discursive communication, or another thing, another name we can give it to non-verbal communication.
Non-verbal.
Okay, this is psychomotor communication, psychomotor learning. So these are the three domains of learning. Then after three domains of learning, another important point is there, what we call types of learning. Okay, types of learning that comes from the Ganesh outcome and four pillars of learning. And first, let us discuss about Gane. Robert M. Gane. We all know this name very well. So he is one of the important name in the field of educational psychology, and he has given 8 events, actually 8 steps. Ganesh hierarchical learning we call it. Okay. এটি hierarchical ର ଅର୍ଥ ନୁହଁ ଯେ one is superior than the other, and these 8 levels are interconnected and what we call interrelated, and one must proceed the second level only after getting the mastery over the first level. Okay, and in that learning process we must have to learn different kind of abilities at different level. So talking about these levels or hierarchy of learning, at the bottom, ସବୁଠୁ bottom ରେ କଣ ଆସେ ପିଲେ କିଏ କହିପାରିବ? ଟିକେ ମନେ ପକାଅ, level କାର hierarchy of level ନା first ରେ ସବୁଠୁ ତଳେ କୋଉଟା ଆସେ Ganesh hierarchy of learning ରେ? signal learning ଆସେ. Okay, at the level ଏଇଟାକୁ ଯୋଉଟା ଆମେ discussion କରିବା, that is the outcome of the Ganesh level, Ganesh hierarchy of learning. So we must have an idea regarding the Ganesh hierarchy of learning, then we will talk about the outcome. So talking about the 8 events or 8 situations of learning, at the bottom comes is signal learning. Okay, so what is the meaning of signal learning? କିଏ କହିପାରିବ what is the meaning of signal learning? We learn different kind of things because of the signal. Okay, and in that situation our sensory motors play a very crucial role. Signal learning con, suppose you are going on a road and suddenly the traffic light turns red. What you do there? You stop there. Why? Because you have learned the signal. Yes or no? ବୁଝିପାରୁଛ ମୁଁ ଯାହା କହୁଛି? So this is the most primitive condition of learning, and it is what we call automatic in nature, spontaneous in nature. Because of signal we learn different kind of things. Okay, then after signal learning कौन आसे ना stimulus response learning. Stimulus response learning is taken from the Pavlov's conditioning theory. So that means we show a particular response to a particular kind of a stimulus. Jemiti, suppose we love a certain kind of food. So when that food comes to our mind, automatically some water comes from our mouth. That happens because of the conditioning between the stimulus and the response. That is the second situation. Okay, तापरे कौन पिला से चेनिंग चेनिंग पर कहि परिबो कि आउ के जानि छी एनी वन ऑफ यू तापरे कहा कौन अछि कहि परिबो ना कहबी प्लीज रेस्पोंड
सर कुहंतु
okay first कौन कहली fast signal learning, then second one what we call stimulus response learning, third one chaining, then what we call verbal association, then what we call multiple discrimination 5 number रे 6 number रे कौन आसे ना concept learning, 7 number रे आसे principle learning, 8 number रे आसे problem solving. These are the different kind of situation. I repeat karuchi. Number 1 signal learning, number 2 what we call stimulus response learning, third one what we call chaining, then fourth one verbal association, fifth one multiple discrimination, then what we call concept learning. After concept learning then comes what we call the rule learning or principle learning, and at the top that is problem solving. These are the Ganesh hierarchy of learning. Okay, तेणु बेसिंग अपॉन दैट हायरार्की कौन है ना 5 categories of Gane actually identified 5 categories of learning outcome basing upon those 8 situations. First one verbal learning, second one intellectual skill, third one cognitive strategy, fourth one attitude, fifth one motor skill. These are the 5 categories of learning, and those learning outcomes are taken from the result of Ganesh hierarchy learning theory. First one verbal learning, that means recalling different kind of facts and information. That is verbal learning. Suppose you are asked who is the Prime Minister of India. Okay, you will able to answer it because you have verbal learning. Okay, then intellectual skill means discriminating learning. Okay, distinguish object based on different kind of properties. For example, suppose you will be asked what is the difference between 10 and 20, you will be able to answer it because you have got that intellectual skill. Okay, and the next one is what we call cognitive strategy, and also in intellectual learning some of the other concepts we learn. Discrimination learning, that means the ability to discriminate two situation, two concept. Then second one concept learning. Okay, so what is concept learning? So concept learning means grouping different objects, events or ideas basing upon different types. Okay, suppose you say banana, apple, guava, pomegranate. So these are the different kind of objectives. They may be same in some situation, but when we put all them in a group, that is called the fruit. Fruit is the concept. Okay, and concept learning is one kind of intellectual skill. Then rule learning, and also in intellectual skill we also learn some kind of rule. Okay, so what is rule learning? Rule learning implies that when different concepts are developed, when different concepts are actually joined together in a meaningful way for a general fact or a truth, that is called rule learning. Suppose we say water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. So different concepts are joined together or combined together. Water is a concept, boil is a concept. We combine all these concepts to form a general fact or a general rule. That is called rule learning. This is the second type of learning outcome from Ganesh hierarchy. Prathame kon kahitili verbal learning. Second I have told that is intellectual skill. And intellectual skill, we have discussed about the discrimination learning, the concept learning, then the rule learning. Okay. Then the third is cognitive strategy. Cognitive strategy implies that it is one kind of internal skill that regulate the use of different kind of concepts and rule, helping organize the cognitive process effectively. Okay. The next thing is attitude. Then the last thing is motor skill. These are the 5 outcomes from Ganesh hierarchy of learning. Then next thing is 4 pillar of learning or 4 pillar of education. So this concept actually developed by UNESCO. UNESCO has defined learning. Okay. The treasure within proposed for a report actually published by UNESCO in 1996. Okay. And the title of the report is The Treasure Within. ବୁଝିପାରିଲେ ଆଉ କହୁଛି 1996 ରେ ୟୁନେସ୍କୋ କଣ କରିଥିଲା ନା ଗୋଟେ ରିପୋର୍ଟ ପବ୍ଲିଶ କରିଥିଲା and in that report the title of the report was କଣ କହିଲି ନା the treasure within, learning the treasure within. And in that report it has mentioned the 4 pillars of education or 4 pillars of learning, and these 4 pillars are learning to know, second one learning to do, third one learning to live together, fifth one learning to be. Okay, so let us know its meaning. What is learning to know? Learning to know means combining broader general knowledge within depth study, okay, to specific subject. This is also known as the learning to learn. Okay, so it means learning means not only the mere memorization of some of the facts or some information. That is not the actual meaning of learning. Okay, the meaning of learning means to understand something or to gain the deep knowledge about something. And learning to do means acquiring occupational skill and broader competencies to handle diverse situation, to work in teams. That means the main process or the main motto of learning to be efficient, to do something, to be earn something, to be a productive human. That is the second meaning of education, main meaning of learning. Then another thing is learning to live together, developing understanding and appreciation for other, fostering independence and manage conflict respectively. Learning to live together, that means learning is a social process. Learning help us to be a responsible citizen, to be a societal animal, and to live happily with together. That is the meaning of learning. Then fourth pillar of learning is what we call learning to be. That means developing one's responsibility, autonomy, judgment, and personal responsibility. Education should nurture all aspects of a person's potential. Learning to be, that means as we know, human being when born, he or she has some special qualities, what we call inheritance qualities. Okay, and those inheritance qualities, or simple term we can say potential, those potentials are to be expressed fully, are to be developed fully. Okay, that should be the objective of learning. Okay, ତେଣୁ ଆମେ କହିପାରିବା ଯୋଉ 4 pillars provide କଲା କିଏ ୟୁନେସ୍କୋ in 1996. Those 4 pillars actually describe the actual meaning of learning. ठीक ଅଛି ପିଲେ, ତେଣୁ types of learning ଆମେ ଜାଣିଲେ basing upon the Ganesh outcome and 4 pillars. If any doubt you can ask. So this is about the first unit. Okay, dear students, please respond. Otherwise, we will go for the second unit.
Yes, sir.
कौन कौन हमें discussion कले ताहले पिले? So these are the summary. So we have talked about the behaviorism, the meaning of learning as per behaviorism, the meaning of learning as for cognitivism, the meaning of learning as for constructivism, and the meaning of learning as for social constructivist. And also we have talked about the different domains of learning, They are cognitive domain, affective domain, and psychomotor domain. And also, very important thing we came to know about the situated cognition. Okay, and also in last part we have talked about the types of learning, and those types of learning are discussed from Ganesh point of view, and the definition given by UNESCO, that is the four pillar of learning. So this is about the first unit. So I have touched all important points of this unit. Then let us talk about the second unit. The second unit is about the dynamics of learning. Okay, and in that part we will talk about the development of a learner, development of a child. So as we know, the main process, the main objective of education or learning is the development of our child or development of a learner. Okay, so the learning process, as we know, the whole education system is meant for the all-round development of our learner. So learning is a continuous process. We all know that it is a evolution process, and it moves from rudimentary to complex skill, and different events help us in our life from childhood onwards in the process of learning. And through this ongoing process, these ongoing process are actually intertwined. That means they are complementary and supplementary to each other. What we have learned is not the result of a single day. Learning is a cumulative process. ଯେମିତି ଆମର ଜନ୍ ଡିବି କହିଲେ ଯେ continuous reconstruction of experience is learning. Okay, so what we have learned is not the result of a single day. Okay, it is the result of our whole life experience. ତେଣୁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ when we try to understand the process of learning by focusing the learner, we must have to consider some of the important theories. Okay, these theories actually help us to understand the development process of learner. And these theories are first Piaget's cognitive theory, then second one Vygotsky's social constructivist theory, then another theory is Kohlberg's moral development theory. So this unit is about these three types of theory. One is Piaget theory, second one Vygotsky theory, third one Kohlberg moral development theory. So do you want any idea about these theories? Any one of you? Have you read about these theories? Piaget theory, so Vygotsky theory किए पढ़िଛ कि पिले टिके खाली रेस्पोंड करो. Hello dear students, are you there?
सर पढ़िଛୁ सर ସବୁ ଜିନିଷଟା ସାର୍ ଟିକେ ରିକଲ୍ ହେଇପାରୁନି କିନ୍ତୁ ପଢ଼ିଛୁ ସାର୍.
Okay, okay. Can you give some basic idea? Any one of you, can you give some basic idea regarding Piaget's theory? Jean Piaget, a constructivist theorist. Okay, okay. Please.
ପିଆଜେଟଙ୍କର ଚାରିଟା ଷ୍ଟେଜ ଥିଲା, ସେଟା ସେନ୍ସୋରି ମୋଟର ଷ୍ଟେଜ, ପ୍ରି ଅପରେସନାଲ ଷ୍ଟେଜ, କମ୍ପ୍ଲିଟ ଅପରେସନାଲ ଷ୍ଟେଜ, ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଫର୍ମାଲ ଅପରେସନାଲ ଷ୍ଟେଜ.
Very good, very good. Anything else? Please respond. Dear students, please respond. Okay, let me explain without wasting much time. Jean Piaget, one of the renowned name in the field of educational psychology, we all know that. He is a pioneer of constructivist approach. So he has talked about three important things. I'm talking about some important concept of his theory. The first thing, he has talked about three important concept in first part, and he has talked about schema. So what is schema? Schema means
mental image, sir.
Yes. Schema means the mental image. Okay, the mental structure of an individual, and that help to adopt and organize the environment. We, mane simple bhasare we call it the cognitive structure of an individual is called the schema. It differs from person to person. ठीक ना नहीं कहला जेमिति आमे हमर cognitive structure
our cognitive structure is different from the other, and because of the cognitive structure we learn. ठीक अच्छे तेणु सेकेंड थिंग गोटे जिनस पिले कौन ना accommodation assimilation and equilibrium. These are other three concept of his theory. तांको theory टाको मु तीनिटा पार्ट रे डिस्कस करबी पिले गोटे पार्ट रे किछि important concepts कहबी, and in second step I will talk about the stages of cognitive development. Then I will talk the criticism, how other psychologists or other scholars have criticized his theory. So let us first talk about the first step. As I have mentioned, that is first thing is schema. Schema means the cognitive structure of an individual, and that cognitive structure help individual to adopt and organize the environment. So because of that schema, we have created our own world. We have deal with the environment as per our own philosophy. That possible because of our schema. Okay, and that schema or cognitive structure differ from person to person. Second thing is accommodation. So what is accommodation? So accommodation means when our new experience. Assimilation. Let us discuss about assimilation. Then we will talk about accommodation. So what is assimilation? So assimilation means the process through which we fit new experience to the existing cognitive structure. Okay, I repeat. Assimilation means it is a process through which one fits the new experience to the existing cognitive structure. माने फॉर एग्जांपल अच्छा कहलो टेल मी गोटे छोटो छुआटीए जहा जिंस पाइले कहीं से पाट्रे भर्ती कर दिए. कैन एनी वन ऑफ यू टेल? कैन एनी वन ऑफ यू आंसर व्हाई ए बेबी पुट्स एवरीथिंग व्हाट ही फाइंड्स और शी फाइंड्स इनटू हिज माउथ? व्हाई?
सब से खाइबा जिंस भाबे.
Why? I am asking why. Because the main reason behind it, it gets pleasure from the mother's nipple. Yes or no? It gets food from his or her mother's nipple. That is the reason. So that kind of pleasure, that kind of things he or she wants to derive from other things. That's why it puts everything it found into his mouth. Yes or no? So that is called accommodation. छोट मनकर पेन टे पाइगला ताको पाटरे भर्ती कर देवाकू चेष्टा करिवो. छोट बॉल टे पाइला ताको पाटरे भर्ती कर देवाकू चेष्टा करिवो. That means it tries to fit the new situation into his previous experience. That's why it puts everything. That is called assimilation. It wants to assimilate everything. ठीक अच्छे. तापर आसला सेकंड सिचुएशन आसला accommodation. जेतबले कोन होउची ना न्यू थिंग्स व्हेन द न्यू एक्सपीरियंस डज नॉट फिट टू द ओल्डर वन. सपोज से गोटे बहुत बड़ बॉल टे पाइला ताकू से मुहरे पुरेया पई चेष्टा कला. व्हेन ही फेल्स व्हाट इट डज, इट पुल्स द बॉल. नो कि बॉल टाको गोइठा मार दवो कि हाथ रे पेली दवो. इट विल पुश दैट थिंग, इट विल थ्रो दैट थिंग. ओके, कहीं की ना इट accommodate the new situation with the previous one. That is the third concept. And the fourth concept is equilibrium. Okay, sometimes what happened jota ko se balance kore. Equilibrium means balance. Okay, so it tries to balance the previous experience with the new one. It is called equilibrium. Okay, so these are the four important concepts. कौन कहली पिले फर्स्ट पार्ट रे? What are the four concepts of Piaget's theory? First one, schema. Second thing I have told. Repeat, please repeat. Assimilation. Third one, accommodation. Fourth one, equilibrium. That is the first part of Piaget's theory. Okay, students. ମୁଁ ଜାଣିବା ପାଇଁ ଚାହୁଁଛି whether you are listening to me or not. So some kind of response I want from you, from all of you. Then let us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, from the second part. Let us talk about the second part of Piaget's theory. He has mentioned 4 stages of development, that is cognitive development. And he has named these steps as sensory motor stage. Then formula pile mane rakhi dabo SPCF. Okay, SPCF. The first stage is sensory motor stage, which extends from the age of 0 to 2 years. Then pre-operational stage, that is from 2 to 7 years. Then concrete operational stage, that is 7 to 11 years of age. Then the last one is called formal operational stage, that is from 11 years onward. So the first stage is called sensory motor stage. Ko age ru ko age bhitere कहली पिले? It extends from
0 to 2 years.
0 to 2 years. Okay, now ସବୁବେଳେ ପିଲେ ମନେ ରଖିଥିବ ସବୁ ଜିନିଷର ବେସିକ ଜାଣିବା ପାଇଁ ଆଗ ଚେଷ୍ଟା କରିବ. Try to understand the basic. ତେଣୁ if someone asks you why the first stage is called the sensory motor stage, what will be your answer? Because here the infants interact the environment, okay, through their senses. ठीक ଅଛି, and motor abilities. They learn different kind of things by using their 5 senses. That's why this stage is known as sensory motor stage. ठीक ଅଛି, so ଯେମିତି ଗୋଟେ ଜିନିଷକୁ ଛୁଇଁଲେ କେମିତି ଲାଗେ, ଗୋଟେ ଜିନିଷକୁ ଚାଖିଲେ କେମିତି ଲାଗେ, ଗୋଟେ ଜିନିଷକୁ ଯେମିତି ଦେଖିଲେ how it looks, ଗୋଟେ ଶବ୍ଦ କୋଭଳି ଭାବରେ ଶୁଣା ହଉଛି, all information they get through their senses. That's why this stage is called sensory motor stage. Okay. Then the second age is called pre-operational stage. Okay, why it is called pre-operational stage? Because during this stage their mental development is not to the fullest level. Okay, children from this age form mental images. They learn by mental images. They learn not by logic, not by considering the reason behind it. ओके, जदि आमे पचारिबा गोटे पिला को ए लेवल रो पिला गोटे पचारिबा जे किले लुहा आउ किले तुला भितरे कोउटा बेसी हबो, कार ओजन बेसी हबो, the answer will be the weight of the cotton will be more. काहेकि ना तारो सेतबळे लॉजिकल थिंकिंग डेवलप हेइ न थाए. ठीक अछि, that's why this stage is called pre-operational, because they do not perform, because this is the pre-stage of the full mental development. Okay, तेणु they don't use their logic, they don't use their reasoning in order to learn anything. They just learn because by seeing the concrete objects or concrete things. So that's why this stage is called pre-operational stage. And the third stage is what we call concrete operational stage. So this stage extends from 7 to 11 years of age, and children of this stage, they develop logical thinking, they can solve concrete problem. Sei प्रश्न जदि आमे एई पिलांकु पचारिबा, children from concrete operational stage, जे किले लुहा आउ किले तुला भितरे कहार ओजन हबो, he will answer logically. Okay, although the volume of cotton will be more, but the weight of the both things are same. That kind of answer will find from a children of concrete operational stage, not from a student from pre-operational stage. Okay, and the fourth stage is what we call formal operational stage. So it extends from the age of 11 years onward, and students they employ their logical thought. They also learn abstractly. They may show some problem solving abilities, they may formulate hypotheses, they may test hypotheses, or they may develop their metacognition, that means their own cognition process. Okay, so these are the 4 stages of cognitive development. Okay, any doubt on it, dear students?
No, sir.
Okay,
No, sir.
so let us talk about how other scholars have criticized the cognitive structure or Piaget's cognitive theory. So this theory actually criticized from various point of view. So other psychologists, they have mentioned that here only focus is given for the cognitive aspect. Okay, so development does not implies the cognitive aspects only. So other aspect like social development, emotional developments, these aspects are neglected here. This is one of the reason, one of the cause, and also from other point of other scholars, they have criticized that the development cannot be described in stages. Okay, we cannot put a strict mark for the development. We cannot say these kind of things are developed in pre-operational stage. These kind of abilities are developed in a pre-operational or concrete operational stage. So development, as it is a lifelong process, it is a continuous process. We cannot confine some specific development in a particular level or particular age. So these are the some of the important critics. Okay, then let us talk about another theory of cognitive development, what we call Vygotsky socio-cultural theory of cognitive development. This is one of the important theory in the field of education or field of learning, and I will talk. This theory will be discussed basing upon some of the important points. And first thing, he has talked about some important concept. The first concept is what we call social interaction. Okay, so according to Vygotsky, he is also known as the social constructivist. According to Vygotsky, the first concept I have told, that is social interaction. He has mentioned that learning is a social process, and learning cannot be possible in isolation. Students learn because of the interaction with the other persons. The other persons may be the teachers, they may be their peers, they may be their parents, they may be other members of the society. So because of interaction, they learn different kind of things. Students learn to imitate. Okay, they think some persons as their models, role models, and they follow their everything. They follow their activities, they follow their behaviors. So this is through the process of observation, they learn different kind of things. So that means learning is a social process, social interaction process. That is the first important thing. Then second important concept he has mentioned, that is the importance of language. Okay, so he has mentioned the cognitive development starts of a child with the development of language. And he has talked about three types of languages. No, ke kahi paribo tini prokar languages kon pile? Can any one of you? What are the three types of language he has talked about? Hello, dear students. Okay, he has talked about three types of language. One is what we call inner language. One is what we call social language. Second one inner language. Third one private language. Okay. Tenu social language केतेबेले start हुए at the age of 2. Okay. So this is the language through which we communicate with others. And this is the language through which we live in the society, we communicate with others, we share our experience, we gain our knowledge. So this is known as social language. Then second language is what we call inner language. Inner language actually starts at the age of 7. Okay, so this is the language through which we control our emotion. And this is the language through which we जोटा हमें कहउचंती कोन हमें हमरो feelings emotions ताको control करंती. Okay, and third type of language is private language. Private language माने it is also one kind of language which in which we speak to ourselves. Okay, we motivate ourselves, we perform various kind of activities by those inner commands. Okay, he has talked about three types of languages. Then another concept of his theory is what we call MKO. Okay, MKO means more knowledgeable others. Okay, so what is more knowledgeable others? More knowledgeable others means the persons who actually know more than us. They are more knowledgeable others. They may have different kind of they may have more experience in a particular thing. Okay, ତେଣୁ MKO ତାକୁ ଆମେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି more knowledgeable others. ତେଣୁ question ଉଠିପାରେ ଯେ who may be the more knowledgeable others. More knowledgeable others may be anyone, maybe teachers, maybe friends, maybe parents. Okay, maybe a small children. ମାନେ ଆମଠୁ କମ ଏଜ ର ଗୋଟେ ପିଲା ବି more knowledgeable ହେଇଥାଇପାରେ ଯଦି ତାର experience in that particular area is more than us. Okay, ତେଣୁ we need the assistance or support from these kind of people whom we call MKO, more knowledgeable others. Okay, and then another important concept he has told, that is ZPD. Okay, ZPD means what is the meaning of ZPD? ZPD means zone of proximal development. Okay, so what is the zone of proximal development? It means a zone. It means a difference. It means a difference between potential of an individual and again I repeat, what is ZPD? ZPD means the gap between the actual potential development of an individual and the development that one has achieved without the help of other. ठीक अच्छे, ताको हमें ZPD बोली कहउचंती. तेनु से ZPD टा जते कम हबो, माने गैप टा जते कम हबो, व्यक्तिर डेवलपमेंट सेते अधिका हबो. And in order to bridge the gap of ZPD or minimize the gap of ZPD, we need the help of kaharo na MKO जो को हमें discussion करथुले. We need the assistance from more knowledgeable others. Okay, तेनु with their support or with the social interaction process we learn. ठीक अछि. Then another important concept he has talked about, that is scaffolding. Okay, so what is scaffolding? Scaffolding means the initial support or initial help that we get from the MKO. Okay, we need the teachers or the more knowledgeable others must provide some kind of assistance at the initial point. That is called MKO. Sorry, that is called what we call scaffolding. Scaffolding means scaffolding does not mean telling the solution of a particular problem. Solution will be done by the learners, as this theory is based on the constructivist approach. But as they have some kind of lack in experience at the initial stage, some kind of assistance have to be provided at initial stage. That is called scaffolding. Actual meaning of scaffolding is the right amount of help at the right time is called scaffolding. ठीक अछि. So these are the important concept of Vygotsky theory. कौन important concept कहली? प्रथम रे मु कौन कहली? The first one I have told that के कहबो कार मने
Social interaction.
Okay, learning is a social interaction process. Second thing I have mentioned that role of language is very crucial. Importance of language in the process of learning. And I have mentioned 3 types of languages. कौन कहली? What are the languages I have talked? Social language, inner language, third one, and private language. Okay. Then third thing I have talked about MKO. MKO means what is the meaning of MKO? Please.
More knowledgeable others.
More knowledgeable others. More knowledgeable others. Who can be the MKO? Anyone. Okay. Anyone can be the MKO if one has more experience, more knowledge on a particular concept. आमटू कम बयसर पिला भी हेई थाई पारे. Teachers हेई पारंती, friends हेई पारंती, parents say paranti, any member of the society may be the MKO. Then another thing I have told, that is ZPD, zone of proximal development. That means the gap between the actual potential development and the person one has achieved the development without the help of MKO. So in order to minimize the gap, kon karajiba darkar, we need the scaffolding from the MKO. ठीक अछि? This is all about Vygotsky theory. Then କିଛି doubt ରହିଲା ୟା ଉପରେ?
No, sir.
Okay. Then let us talk about the third theory, that is Kohlberg's theory of moral development. So हमें first जानले जे cognitive development जानिले given by Piaget, social development तापर discussion कले social development theory, that is Vygotsky. Then let us talk about the moral development theory, that is given by Kohlberg. Kohlberg has given 3 stages. Okay, 3 stages of moral development, and first stage is what we call the pre-conventional stage of morality. Pre-conventional stage. Then second one is called conventional stage of morality. Then third stage is what we call post-conventional stage of morality. I repeat, pre-conventional stage of morality, second conventional stage of morality, third stage is what we call post-conventional stage of morality. Tenu, these 3 stages actually 3 level actually 3 level, and 3 levels are again divided into 6 stages. Okay, 3 levels further divided into 6 stages. Then first stage जेतेबेले हम level 1 कथा कहउचंती, so the first stage of pre-conventional morality, here they learn morality because of obedience. Okay, and how that kind of obedience will be developed? By giving punishment. At initial stage, we try to develop morality in our children by giving them punishment, or by giving them what we call some kind of appreciation for performing good work, and for punishment for performing socially unacceptable work. Okay, so morality here is based on avoiding the punishment, okay, from a superior power. So children, they try to avoid punishment, and because of that fear, they learn different kind of moral. That is stage 1. Stage 1 टा को level रे आसुची ना pre-conventional stage रे. Second stage कोण आसुची, that is also related to pre-conventional stage. They also learn different kind of morality because of market exchange. Okay, तो market exchange बिले हमें कोण बुझंती पिले? They need some kind of appreciation. They learn behavior, okay, by satisfying personal needs, actions. Okay, if one can get away with them, that is market exchange. Bhalo kamo pai, they need some kind of appreciation. Okay, and that appreciation helps in the moral development. That is the second stage. So these 2 stages, the 2 stages come under the pre-conventional stage of morality. Then the second level, already I have mentioned, that is conventional morality, and here 2 stages are there. Stage 3, that is interpersonal harmony. So here moral decision aim to please society's significance, others, and conform to social expectation. Interpersonal harmony, that means they learn moral in order to satisfy others. Okay, in order to develop the interpersonal relationship, that means that relationship with father and son, maybe mother and a son. Okay, so in order to please them, in order to conform with the social expectation, they learn some kind of moral behavior, what we call interpersonal harmony. And the 4th stage is law and order. Okay, our society has also established some norms, some rules and regulations, and one has to follow these rules and regulations. We must have to adhere that kind of laws, rules, otherwise we will be punished. Court ro jaha sabu law rohichi, society ro jaha sabu law rohichi, constitutions ro jaha sabu law rohichi, those laws are to be obeyed. Okay, and through the process of obligation we learn behavior. ତେଣୁ ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ଲେଭେଲ ରେ କଣ କଣ ଆସିଲା ଷ୍ଟେଜ 3 ରେ ଫାର୍ଷ୍ଟ ୱାନ୍ ଇଣ୍ଟରପର୍ସନାଲ ହାରମୋନି, ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ୱାନ୍ ଆସିଲା ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ଷ୍ଟେଜ 4 ଆସିଲା କୋଉଟା ନା ଲ ଏଣ୍ଡ ଅର୍ଡର. Then level 3 is what we call post conventional morality. There are also two stages, stage 5 and stage 6, and in stage 5 they learn or they acquire different moral behavior because of social contract. Am I audible, students?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
sir.
Hello, students. Okay. ମୁଁ କଣ କହୁଥିଲି ତାହେଲେ what we were talking about? We were talking about the third level, and in that third level, two stages are there: stage 5 and stage 6. Stage 5, in stage 5, persons or students they learn different values, moral values because of social contract. Individuals view laws as mutually agreed based upon the principles of justice, liberty, common good. Okay, moral dimensions are complex here, but these moral values are developed because for the development of the society, for the well-being of the society. Then the stage 6, that is universal principle, and this is the highest level of morality and rarely encountered. And moral reasoning is based on internalized abstract principle of justice and equality. Okay, and these principles are actually written in laws, and these kind of morality actually develop in few, not in all person. ठीक अच्छे जो पांचटा स्टेज कथा कहले पांचटा स्टेज रे जो मोरालिटी डेवलप हुए प्राय सब व्यक्ति पाखे डेवलप हुए मोराल से मोराल्स. बट व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट the universal principles, sometimes these universal principles are not fully developed in all persons. Okay, ତେଣୁ this is the stages of moral development, or we can say the Kohlberg theory of moral development. ତେଣୁ ଏଠି ଆମେ କଣ discussion କଲେ ନା 3 levels are there: level 1, level 2, level 3. Level 1 is pre-conventional morality, second conventional morality, third is post-conventional morality, and in each level there are 2 stages. ठीक ଅଛି, କିଛି doubt ରହିଲା?
No, sir.
Any doubt on it? Okay, then let us talk the last part of the second unit. So this is about Erkinson's psychological development, Erkinson's principle of psychological development. Okay, so psychological development, or what we call social development. Psychological development includes everything here. It includes the cognitive, it includes the social development, it includes the moral development. Everything are included here. So this theory was given by Erkinson, one of the important theory in the field of educational psychology. And according to this theory, he has mentioned about 5 stages. He has mentioned about 5 stages of development. Okay, आमे जेतबेले पिले कहउचंती जो डेवलपमेंट मानेकर कॉग्निटिव डेवलपमेंट कथा कहले पियाजेटंकर, Erkinson also mentioned one criticized to that theory. He has mentioned that cognitive development is a lifelong process. It should not be stopped at the concrete operational stage. ता पर स्टेज रे 11 onwards to 11 to 16 से कहले ता पर स्टेज रे डेवलपमेंट कोहुले भाव रे हुए. He has not clear about it. Okay, that's why Erkinson has given the stages, the development stages up to the end of life. That is one of the important features. Okay, he has mentioned about the 5 stages of development in life. Okay, So ଯେମିତି ଆମେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଯେମିତି ଆମର stage 1 that is जो stage ଟାକୁ ଆମେ trust versus mistrust ବୋଲି କହନ୍ତି ତାପରେ next that is autonomy versus same doubt ତାପରେ initiative versus guilt then also the next stage is industry versus inferiority. Stage 5 is identity versus role confusion. Okay, so like this he has mentioned about these 5 stages. So the first stage extends from birth to 2 years, and here development of the stage actually depends on the satisfaction of needs at each stage. जो stage कथा हमें कहउचंती जे balanced personality will be developed when the satisfaction of each stage are fulfilled. Let us take the example of stage 1. Okay, so stage 1, that is what we call trust versus mistrust. So this extends from birth to 2 years. Here they needs to survive. The child at this stage they needs to survive. So they need proper care. They need food. They need warm care, consistent. Okay, so if their needs are fulfilled during this time, what happened? They develop a trust towards the society. They develop trust towards the other people. Okay, and the other hand, if they feel fear and if their needs are not fulfilled as per their requirement, then mistrust develops. Okay, which affect the developmental stages, actually the other developmental stages. Then for the development in first stage facilitate the development in the second stage. If he develops trust, then the next development will be in a better way. And in the other hand, if one develops mistrust in the first stage, it affects the development in the second stage. Okay. Then the second step is autonomy versus same. And this stage actually extends from 2 to 3 years of age. And here the children develop physical independence. That means they don't want others to interfere in their different kind of activities. Okay, they want to take food by themselves. They want to take bath by themselves. They want to wear their dress by themselves. They want to wear their shoes by themselves. Okay, so विभिन्न कामरे समाने माने आउ कहारो interference चाहती नहीं. Okay, they want to do their activities completely by themselves. Okay. So on the other hand, if children are if children will be taken care by the parents, if parents are not allowing them the autonomy, what happened? They develop this shame and doubt towards their growth. बुझेला जोटा हमें pampered child बोली कहंती. Pampered child means their every activities are done by their parents. So these kind of students develop shame and doubt. They feel doubt whether they will be able to perform their activities or not. Okay, so this is the second stage. Then initiative and guilt. So this stage extends from 3 to 6 years of age, and children of this stage they desire to explore and investigate, taking initiatives in new challenges. Okay, so parents, teachers, माने age रे पिला माने generally they start going to school, and at school teachers expect something from them. If they get success as per the expectation of the teachers and parents, they become initiative, so that will advance their development. On the other hand, if they fail to cope with the demands from the parents and the teachers, so some kind of guilty feeling develop in them. Parents माने जहाँ चाहूथुबे जदि से न करि पारिले भलो एग्जाम रे भलो मार्क जदि सिक्योर न करि पारिले, so they may feel some kind of guilty. Okay, they think that they cannot they are inferior to their counterpart, okay, or to their peers. So some kind of guilty feeling developed in them. Then stage 4, that extends from 6 to 12 years of age. That is industry versus inferiority. So children strives for mastery in school and activities, developing a sense of competencies of industries, encouragement, foster, and the lack of this, it can lead to feeling of inferior. Okay, in industry or inferior. So 6 ରୁ 12 ବର୍ଷ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆସନ୍ତି, expectations increase from parent side and from also from the teacher side. Okay, so if they able to fulfill the expectation of parents and teachers, what happened? So they may be industrious, they may be laborious, and personality develops according to that. And on the other hand, if they fail, what happened? They feel inferior. They what happened? They think that they are not fit to the education system or to learning system. They will not fulfill the demands from their parents. Okay, so that kind of feelings actually develop in stage 5, that is industry and inferior. Then stage 5 comes, that is what we call the identity and role confusion. So this during this stage, children, this stage is actually known as the adolescent stage. Okay, and extends from 13 to 18 years of age. And here the adolescent boys and girls, they try to develop their own identity, and sudden changes in their physical activities also changes their emotions, changes their social activities. And if they able to fulfill the crisis, মানে এই স্টেজটাকে আমি ক্রাইসিস স্টেজ বলে কহନ୍ତି, because they want complete freedom from their parents, and also they are confused about their role. They also confused about their career, confused about their relationship. And if they able to meet the crisis during this stage, a balanced personality growth in them. Okay, and the other hand, if they unable to fulfill the crisis, a different kind of personality develop in them, and they became confused about their role, and frustration develop, which may lead to different kind of antisocial activities. They may choose a friend circle. Another important thing of this stage, during this stage, students or the adolescent boys and girls, they like to make friendship during this stage. And if they find the right kind of friend, that will help in their personality growth. Okay, so this is all about the second unit. If any doubt in this unit, you can ask for it. कौन कौन हमें डिस्कशन कले ताहले सेकंड यूनिट रे? Hello dear students, what we have?
सर पियाजेट थ्योरी, भाइगोट्स की थ्योरी, कोलबर्ग थ्योरी, एंड लास्ट सर हला एरिक्सन थ्योरी.
Have discussed in the second unit. We have talked about first thing, we have talked about Piaget's theory. Second thing, we have discussed about Vygotsky's theory. Then Erkinson, Kohlberg stages of moral development. Then in the last part, last theory, we have talked about Erikson's psychological development. Okay. ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଜିନିଷ ପିଲେ ଏଠି ଅଛି, ଆଉ ଦିଟା ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ କନସେପ୍ଟ ଅଛି এই ୟୁନିଟ ରେ, ଯୋଉଟାକୁ ଆମେ କଲଚରେସନ ବୋଲି କହନ୍ତି, ଏନ୍ କଲଚରେସନ, ଆକ୍ କଲଚରେସନ. ସେ ଦିଟା ଟର୍ମ ଟିକେ ଜାଣିଥାଅ. What is N culturation and what is X culturation? N culturation means simple ଭାଷାରେ the society in which we live have different norms, different rules, different regulations. Yes or no? And from the process of socialization, what happened? We acquire those cultures. We are acquainted with the culture. Okay, we learn the social norms, social rules, and also with culture some kind of habits that shape our behavior, that shape our personality. We learn what to do and what to not to do. Okay, so that process is known as enculturation. And acculturation माने हमें कौन बुझंती? When we come to two different types of culture. Okay, suppose we are living in a state and due to some reason we shift to other state. Okay, so we can find the culture differences. So enculturation implies is that the learning of ideas, values, and conventions and behaviors that characterize a social group when we are interacting in two groups, two culture. ठीक अच्छे दीटा कल्चर को जिते आम कंबाइन करती वी ट्राई टू लर्न सम आस्पेक्ट ऑफ द न्यू कल्चर दैट इज नोन एज एक कल्चरेशन ओके सो दीज आर आल्सो टू इंपोर्टेंट कॉन्सेप्ट्स एन कल्चरेशन अर्थ होची निज कल्चर बाबद जानिबा टू बी अक्वेंटेड विथ आवर कल्चर आम कल्चर जहाँ सब रही से बाबद शिखा बाय द प्रोसेस ऑफ सोशलाइजेशन बाय द प्रोसेस ऑफ एजुकेशन एक कल्चरेशन माने दीटा कल्चर जिते आम कंबाइन करवा we must have to acquainted with the other culture by combining মানে it is a process of combining two culture ঠিক আছে so this is about the second unit তারপরে পিলে third unit এটিকি থিব না next class को
next class
okay within 6 days we have to complete 19 units आज टिके लेट स्टार्ट हे गला पीपीटी गुड़ा भी आज टिके ठीक से कोन देखा गला देखियो ताको टिके मॉडिफाई मु कर दउची tomorrow we will complete the first two unit and also the second unit second block okay
Yes, sir.
yes sir
okay आ गुटा कथा टिके कहि दउची पिले सुनो importantly if you want to get benefit from these counseling classes you have to read yourself at least some basic concept you must have to be acquired before coming to the class so that you will be participate in the process of teaching and learning ठीक अच्छे otherwise I will say everything but you will only listen your active participation is important যদি active participation हे गला we will complete the whole syllabus within the stipulated time okay
yes sir
ତେଣୁ ଆଟଲିଷ୍ଟ ଟିକେ ଆଟଲିଷ୍ଟ ଅଳ୍ପ କିଛି ପଏଣ୍ଟ ପଢିକିନି ଆସିଥିବ ଯୋଉଟା ପଚାରିଲେ ଆଟଲିଷ୍ଟ ତାକୁ ଡିସ୍କସନ କରିପାରିବ କିଛି ରେସ୍ପନ୍ସ ଆସୁଥିବ ଏଟା ଗୋଟେ କଥା ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ କଥା ଆମର 5ଟା ବେଳକୁ କ୍ଲାସ ରହୁଛି ତେଣୁ we will start 5 but if I fail to join in that time don't go within 5:30 I will join okay କାହିଁକି ନା କଲେଜ ରୁ ଆସୁ ଆସୁ ଟିକେ ओके कॉलेज रो आसु आसु टिके हुए तो लेट हे जाई पर आज जेमती मीटिंग थिला मो 5:15 रे आसली तेनु विदिन 5:30 यू ऑल हैव टू जॉइन ओके डोंट थिंक मु जेमती हेले भी क्लास नेबी ओके जदी जोदिनो नै पारली नै तारो शिफ्ट करके तारो दिन बरंग नेबी किंतु माने डोंट गो अवे एंड फास्ट फोकस टू द टाइम स्ट्रिक्ट टू द टाइम वी विल स्टार्ट एट 5 if not possible in coming 15 to 20 minutes we will start the class is it okay
Yes, sir.
okay then thank you to all for listening me patiently and if any doubts you can note down it you can ask it tomorrow okay
Okay. Thank you, sir.
thank you
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
हेलो कହାର पूरी एसएससी कॉलेज हेलो 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 तुम ମାନଙ୍କ ଭିତରୁ କାହାର ପୁରୀ ଏସଏସସି କଲେଜ
ଚାନ୍ଦିନୀ ଚାନ୍ଦିନୀ ତମର କୋଉ କଲେଜ? ହ୍ୟାଲୋ ଚାନ୍ଦିନୀ ଚାନ୍ଦିନୀ ଆଉ ମୋନାଲିସା ତମେ ଦି ଜଣ ଅଛ। ଲିଫ୍ଟ ହେଇଗଲା ଆଉ ବାକି ରହିଲା ମୋନାଲିସା।